There have been countless cases of confinement and violence against women in Pakistan, but one incident stood out due to its extreme cruelty and oppression, shaking the conscience of the entire nation. The brutal murder of Noor Mukadam. A 27-year-old Noor Mukadam spent the last 46 hours of her life at her friend's house, named Zahir Jaffer, and that time proved to be so painful for Noor that the same house became her final resting place. Zahir and Noor both are very close friends. In fact, their friends believed that Zahir only started living when Noor came into his life. But on that day, there were only the two of them in the room when a third person jumped through the window. Zahir, seeing him, immediately struck with a knife and then picked up a gun lying nearby and fired, but the bullet got stuck in the chamber. The boy, trying to escape from the 6-foot-tall Zahir Jaffer's clutches, screamed loudly. Noor was also present but could do nothing because in that room, Noor's head was 3 feet away from her body. What happened that night? How did a good friend suddenly become a bloody butcher? Who was the boy that jumped through the window? You will find answers to these questions ahead in the story. But before diving deep, I want to take you into the background story that led to this horrific crime. Noor Mukadam was born in Amman, Jordan, in the house of Pakistani ambassador Shaukat Mukadam. Noor Mukadam was a well-behaved, loving girl with a deep connection to religion. Zahir was a US Pakistani citizen belonging to a wealthy business family. Noor and Zahir met in Islamabad. The two families had good relations, so it was known that Noor and Zahir were also good friends, and they were very close to each other. Islamabad is not as big as Karachi or Lahore, so people often know each other. The meeting started with a simple hello, with Noor and Zahir exchanging numbers and beginning to meet regularly. Noor's attractive personality drew Zahir closer to her. Previously, Zahir was just passing through life, but now he had begun to live. Noor's words were like medicine to him, providing mental peace. The meetings increased, and Zahir's condition started to reveal itself to Noor. His bizarre behavior was driving Noor away. In a state of intoxication, Zahir was becoming unmanageable for Noor. She began to see her future with someone who was the spoiled child of a rich father. I cannot stay with him, Noor decided to break up. She was serious about marriage but had to end things with Zahir Jaffer. Zahir was serious at some point, but felt that in the last 3 months, things were not right between them. Time passed, and they had not spoken to each other for 3 months. Then, on July 18th, 2021 night, Noor Mukadam received a message on her phone from Zahir saying, "I am leaving the country forever. I just want to see you one last time. Please?" Noor agreed and went to meet Zahir without telling anyone at home. She said she needed to keep a fast and then left. In Islamabad's F7 sector, Zahir Jaffer was alone as his parents had gone to Karachi. Zahir hadn't lied to Noor. He had booked a ticket to leave for America. But now Zahir had different plans. He called the travel agency and asked what would happen if he didn't go to America. The travel agent said, "If you go after 10 days, you will have to pay the difference." Zahir hung up. He had booked a taxi to go to the airport. Here, a character enters, the taxi and the taxi driver, who arrives at Zahir's house exactly at 11 p.m. The driver calls Zahir twice, at 11:15 p.m. and 11:30 p.m., and both times, Zahir asks the driver to wait longer. Finally, at 12:07 a.m., Zahir hands the driver 1,000 rupees and tells him there's no need to go to the airport. However, at 1:30 a.m., the driver calls Zahir, saying that if he changes his mind, he is still available. Then Zahir tells him to arrive at 2 a.m. At 2:02 a.m., the taxi left for the airport, but as it was still far from the airport, Zahir told the driver to turn around. The driver asked, "What happened, sir?" Zahir replied, "We're late, we'll miss the flight. Let's go back." So, Zahir returned home with Noor. Here's another twist in the story. Zahir asked Noor to arrange 7 lakh rupees. Noor, who had come without informing anyone, called her driver and asked him to arrange the money. She also insisted that no one should know. The driver somehow arranged the money and stood outside Zahir's house. Zahir collected the money from the house servant. A major uproar was about to unfold in a house in Islamabad's F7 sector. However, let's shift our focus to Noor's home, where her family was deeply worried about her disappearance. They were frantically searching the neighborhood, checking house after house and contacting her friends. Noor's phone was off, increasing their anxiety. They were searching the neighborhood, checking one house after another, asking her friends. They called, but Noor's phone was off. They were very worried. On July 20th, Noor's father was busy searching for her. He called Zahir, but he didn't answer, and Noor did not receive calls either. After some time, Noor called home saying she had gone to Lahore with her friends. The story Noor told was that she had left because Zahir had threatened her. Now back in Islamabad's F7 sector, Zahir had abandoned the plan to go abroad. Noor was at his home for a final meeting, and Zahir was not letting her leave. At 4 p.m., they had an argument. Noor wanted to leave immediately, but Zahir started assaulting her. Noor, trying to save herself, jumped from the balcony and fell on the grill. She clutched her stomach and tried to move forward to exit through the main gate, but the watchman had locked it. Noor begged, "Zahir will kill me. Let me go." But the two servants, Jamil and Iftikhar, blocked her way. Noor hid in the watchman's cabin. Meanwhile, Zahir jumped from the first floor, pulled Noor out of the cabin, and dragged her back inside. This raises the question, did only the two servants in the house know about what was happening inside? The investigation revealed that Zahir Jaffer was in contact with his parents in Karachi. Phone call records showed he spoke to his mother for several hours each day. Before the murder, there were calls from Zahir's number to his parents and to the servants, which continued even after the murder. This leads to the question of whether Zahir's parents were aware of their son's intentions. Senior journalist Javed Chaudhry conducted an investigation and wrote a column stating that Zahir had called his father, saying that Noor was refusing to marry him and that he was going to kill her. However, Zahir Jaffer's father did not take Noor's words seriously. Noor might have been saved if her concerns had been taken seriously or if her mother had recognized the potential for violence in her son. There could have been intervention from the guards or neighbors, but unfortunately, none occurred. Even the watchman, who was informed of the situation, did not take any action. During these 10 minutes, Noor had been on the first floor, locked in a room, pleading and begging Zahir. Zahir picked up a knife and attacked her. He slashed her throat, severed her head from her body, and then threw the body and head separately. The autopsy report reveals that Noor was also sexually assaulted and her body was stabbed multiple times with a sharp weapon. Now wait here. You will remember the intro of the video. If not, then watch it again and then join from here. I told you that a boy jumps inside from the window and is apparently attacked by him. The boy was Amjad, the nursing staff of the therapy center. Zahir opened fire at Amjad, but it did not because the bullet stuck in. Again, he fired twice, but still, the fire did not work. He screamed loudly. Someone heard his screamings and informed the police. When the police arrived, they saw Zahir sitting near the dead body and reported he was holding the murder weapon. Police handcuffed Zahir and took him into custody. The whole house was filled with blood. Zahir had cut off Noor's head and kept it separate from her body. He had prepared a 4-page confession letter detailing the whole incident. He confessed to the crime of murder and stated that he had killed Noor because she was not marrying him. Zahir and his family knew that Noor's father was a diplomat, and they believed they could get away with it. Zahir's father had connections with high officials, and Zahir was influential. They believed they could avoid severe consequences. Zahir Jaffer still had hope of escape. Now he started creating the drama of being mad in front of the court. He would sometimes come in a wheelchair and sometimes on a stretcher. At that time, the sessions judge, he vacated the entire court and called only Zahir Jaffer and talked to Zahir Jaffer for 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, the judge said that I think there is no need for medical treatment, and he had declined the medical application despite all the evidence and witnesses. The decision of this case was announced on February 24, 2022 by Judge Atarabani, where Zahir was sentenced to death and 25 years of imprisonment. Along with him, Zahir's house's watchman and gardener were also sentenced to 10 years in prison. All charges against Zahir's parents, cook, and therapy works employees were dropped as the court found no strong evidence against them. In the end, I would like to ask just one question, which says that daughters should be kept an eye on whether they are somewhere else. Why don't they keep it on their sons if it doesn't get out of hand? Why is the oppressor saved every time by making the oppressed the culprit? After all, for how long will this continue to happen? Monsters like Zahir Jaffer still exist in this country, and we have to be vigilant around ourselves and our friends so that such an incident never happens again. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care. Goodbye.